Welcome to the Ask a Melfit Show. If you have never been here, it means so friggin' much that you'd lend me your time. Hey, I'm Matt from Matt Lean Fitness. This is exactly what it looks like. You ask your fitness questions and I answer them. I hope that you'll do that. I hope that you'll drop them down below so I can answer them and we can bring some camaraderie to this YouTube channel. Today I want to dive into some good questions here. The best tips for getting stronger? Can you make those abs and obliques pop out? Or how, at least? Where to start if you're 400 pounds? And if you're 6 months into your journey and you're not very happy with your progress, let's dive into it. Here we go. Tips for getting stronger. I'm a sophomore in high school. I do track, basketball, and football. Might want to spend a little bit more time in English class. There's no punctuation there, and I'm just as bad as you. Track, basketball, and football. I am 6 feet, about 210 pounds. I want to start taking my strength training and weightlifting seriously. However, I do not have a car yet. I am only able to lift 3 days a week with my team. No big deal. A lot can be done in three days. A lot can be done in 3 days. So, what are some things I can do in and out of the weight room to get stronger quicker? So, the word quicker it's always a red flag for me. If the goal is quicker, you might be setting yourself up for failure. But let's break this down. So you run track. I'm not sure if you do long distance or shorter distance. You play basketball and football. So football makes complete sense. Basketball makes complete sense. You want to get this strength and maybe a little bit of muscle put on. 3 days a week is plenty of time to build that strength, to be in the weight room. It isn't necessarily how many days you're in the gym or how many hours you're in the gym. It's what you do with those days. It's what you do with those hours in the gym that matter. If I were in your situation, I would so, especially being in high school, I would so be focusing on big compound lifts, bench press, squat, deadlift, T-bar row. I mean, anything that's going to have to use multiple joints at once, that's what you want. It's not to say that the bicep curl is bad. It's just you want to get more bang for your buck. You're only there 3 days a week, and total body strength can be put on when you're doing bigger movements like the movements I mentioned. So I would really be focusing on that with the 3 days a week. I'd be very, very meticulous with the weight that you're actually moving, the sets, the reps. You need to write it down. You need to track it. And then your total volume is what you really want to focus on. So sets times reps times weight. And then you multiply all that up. And then you figure out how much per week you've done. And then you try to add a little bit more each week. Okay. And honestly, the rep range should be, if you're shooting for strength, 6 to 8 is a good rep range. It's a really good rep range. So I would really be focusing on the big movements, tracking the volume like that. That would be the best thing you could be doing inside the gym. Now, outside the gym, it's just as important. It's just as important. Sleeping, my Lord, sleeping is so huge. I wish I would have paid attention to it when I was younger. Sleeping is so crucial. Getting that 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep. It's one thing to have 7 to 8 hours of broken sleep. You need to get quality sleep, which means you need to turn the screens off at least 30 minutes before bed. So sleep, nutrition, and I would say stretching too. Working on that mobility. Like, that's a lot. I threw a lot at you. The biggest things I would say though is the compound movements and the sleep. Those are the biggest things when it comes to strength, and the nutrition of course is crucial, but if you don't have sleep, if you don't have the right training, you are SOL. So I hope that gives you some pearls. There's a lot to be, you can make it as complicated as you want or as simple as you want, but the more consistent you are, you're gonna get there. Hope that helps. The next one, does training your obliques, and that's right about here, make them easier to see / bigger / more defined? In a sense, yes. I've always been a subscriber to the idea that abs are built in the gym and revealed in the kitchen. I like that phrasing, which is why I've put a focus on my diet instead of actually training any of my core muscles, okay? But one thing One thing always wanted, oh, come on, Matt. Reddit, you're killing me, guys. But one thing I've always wanted, nope, that was me killing me. One thing I've always wanted is 6-pack abs. But we can do this. We can do it. Here we go. But one thing I've always wanted besides 6-pack abs, which is something I already know I have the genetics for, because I can see them if I pull the small layer of fat on my stomach down, okay? Plus the fact that my dad had them, is pronounced obliques and serratus anterior muscles. So right here, understood. You know those little like lines, the little ripples right here? Yeah, that's exactly what you're talking about. Got it. Do you think dedicating a few exercises to training them in each workout session would be beneficial towards making them that much more visible, on top of dieting down and removing the extra body fat that is blocking them? Yeah, absolutely. From being seen, yes. If so, what exercises would you recommend? I do specifically for the side abdominal muscles. Okay, yes, you're 100% right. Now, let's clarify this. When you're talking about eating better, what exactly did you say? You said focusing on my diet. So focusing on your diet and focusing on calories, they're not always synonymous. So just because you start eating apples and lettuce and chicken doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to accomplish that lower body fat. If you are not in a calorie deficit, meaning less energy than your body actually needs, than your body actually burns in a day, then dropping that fat throughout the entire body is not going to happen. So you have to be in a calorie deficit. I would highly, highly recommend you use an app called Lose It. I did suggest MyFitnessPal forever, but in October, they did away with the free scanning. So I say Lose It. It's a great free app that you can use to do so. Track those calories. Be huge. Now, what actual exercises? There's quite a few, and I'm going to name the ones that pop to me quickest. You can do a side plank where, if you're like this on your forearms and elbows where you do a plank, you can do the same thing, just go to the side, okay? So it's a side plank that can hit the obliques. You can do, there's this movement that I love, it's called landmines, and it's when you take a barbell and it's stuck into the corner, or it has an attachment that basically you can take it and you can go to the side like this. I take it all the way over, and then I twist with it, and then I go all the way back over. So it's like a landmine wiper almost. It's so good, and you can feel it. It's so much upper body, but it's so much core. It's so friggin' good. Also, on the cable machine, you can attach it high or low, wherever you want. You get one handle. So cable machines over here, you get one handle in, grab on top right here, and you want to pull away with your core. Don't use your arms, they're just anchors, okay? Pull away with the core. It's gonna be so good for the obliques and the core overall. Hope that helps. I've always just enjoyed those movements. I think it's more important to find movements you enjoy though. So moving on to the next question, how can I lose weight? Well, there's a formula, believe it or not. I likely weigh near 400 pounds, understood. And I have no idea how I've let this happen to myself. Respect. You know what's interesting is your body changing. When you see yourself in the mirror constantly, or when you are set in your ways constantly, it's very easy to not see the changes because you see yourself every day. Even if you don't see yourself in the mirror, you're looking down here, you see this every day. So small changes, they're difficult to see, but that's why they're so important. I was always the fat friend, but it's gotten ridiculous. I always was ashamed and uncomfortable in my body, but the way I look now genuinely disgusts me, and I am miserable mentally and physically. I really do feel for you here. I'm really sorry that this is the spot you're in. Quarantine most definitely made things worse, as it did for many others, but it just isn't stopping. I've gained at least 40 pounds this year alone, and I just can't exist like this anymore. So good for you, because it seems like you have reached sort of your wit's end of wanting to be like this. I hope that you're safe mentally. Like, I hope you're in a good spot, because there is always hope. There's always things that can be done. I can't walk around in stores without feeling sick. My gosh, breathless and faint. I can barely fit in cars. I can't Uber because the seatbelts don't fit. I can't visit friends out of the state because I can't fly. And I rarely leave the house anyways because I hate being seen, and everything in life is just becoming miserable. I feel so bad for you. I'm too young for this. Anyone is too young for this. I want to change and I want to be healthy and feel good about myself. I just have absolutely zero idea how or where to start. If anybody can help me, I'd appreciate it so much. So I want to start off here and tell you that it is okay, that you can do this. It is not going to be easy, but you will get stronger. And I will give you some objective things. So, the most optimal plan in the world doesn't mean crap if you can't follow it. Now, what I mean by that is, if you go out and get the best workout program by the most scientific and it's the best thing in the world, if you can't stick to it, it doesn't matter. So what matters is meeting yourself where you are. So right now, where you are, what you know you can handle, what you know you can do. I am not going to tell you to get up and go run a mile every day. I'm not going to tell you to go get a gym membership. I'm not going to tell you to do all these things that are major steps. You need baby steps, little tiny baby steps. And my suggestion to you would be one of, if not both, of these two things. When it comes to fat loss, weight loss, how that is achieved is through energy balance or a caloric deficit, meaning your body needs X amount of calories. We're just going to say 2,000 calories in a day, okay? If you eat underneath that on a daily basis or a weekly basis, that is the recipe to lose fat, to lose weight. On the opposite side of that, what you can also do is burn more calories than you consume. So if you eat 2,000 calories, but in one day you've burned more than 2,000 calories, 2,100, 2,200, you are going to lose fat, okay? So from a nutrition standpoint, I would highly suggest that you use this app called Lose It. And I'm going to have a video up, if it's not already up, on a tutorial on how to use it. But basically, it shows you how to count calories and how to go through it. I have a video on MyFitnessPal that you can also use. And what I just want you to do is for 1 week, don't worry about hitting a number for calories, okay? Just track what you eat, just to understand how much you're eating and how much you're going over. So just track it for a week. Okay, there should be no stress around this. This should simply be used as an exercise of observation to create nutritional awareness. Okay, so track the food for just 1 week and let that be the only thing you do. Okay, and then after that first week, start trying to shoot for more of a target. Okay, I want you to notice the emotions you have around the food you're eating, what types of food you're eating, what foods you enjoy, what foods you dislike, really trying to experiment with that food. That's the first thing I do. Once you do well with that and you enjoy that process and it's not a burden, I would say just make it a goal to walk to the mailbox and back once a day, or hell, maybe the front door and back. A concerted effort to do that once a day, whatever that walk may be, as short as it may be, to establish the habit. You need to establish the habit, build the confidence from that. I promise you that is a great approach. I'm a behavioral change specialist, so everything I do is the approach of the mental fitness or behavior change aspect. And speaking of, if you're feeling squirrely and you're wanting some sort of fitness program, science-based, behavior change-based, that's exactly what I do. The description down below will have everything. To you, if you're 400 pounds, if you're close to that, if you're heavier than that, just know there's hope, okay? You can do this. Again, it's not easy. Keep it super simple. You can do this. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you're feeling squirrely, slide on back by here because I'm going to keep doing it. You don't have to be perfect at this fitness thing. Just be better than yesterday. Every day. I ran my mouth a little bit too much, so I'll cover that last question in the next video.